Okay, so this one says this anime cannot be made today. It's 7 minutes long. Let's see what it's about, and we probably might do
Ryuga
his next
Samurai
video.
said, "Did you post it, Mono?"
You should try remembering the first anime you watched, because I bet you also recall being seduced by the beginning. Unless your mom, like, beat you up and Inferno Cop is playing in the background and now there's Traumatic Link. Starting a new show was something electric. Every time there'd be a cool guy in a brand new world and it'd all come crashing down in the first episode. The beginnings of these stories felt like the first step in an adventure that I really went on. Wolf's Rain is unique because it's about the end.
Oh, Wolf Rain. Okay, I do remember Wolf Rain.
Of an already dying world.
I'm not gonna
Every
lie to you.
screen-
Any anime from the early 2000s or late 90s was always, I don't know what was with the Japanese, but the Japanese were really obsessed with Christian ideology, or at least the idea of God in Christian in the Christian religion. It's not even about the Christian God, it was more of questioning of what is God, what is our purpose, what is the meaning of life. That was a lot of that, from Matrix to Fooly Cooly to several other animes I can't think of
Ryuga
on the
Samurai
top of my
said, "And
head.
what is life?"
Like I think Gundam did this a little bit, Gundam Wing specifically. Um a lot of animes did that in video games especially. I think Aggro Proxy was one of them. Those who know what I'm talking about. If you know what you know, then you're a cool person. If you know what I'm talking about when I say Aggro Proxy, I think it's called. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of anime that really focus on the idea of what is God, what is our purpose, what is the purpose of God, what is the ultimate, everything. What happens when we die? Is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Is there a purgatory? Is it just blackness?
Alleyway and
Ryuga
building
Samurai
wears a
said, "Yeah,
coat
the
of
one
rubble.
with the
It's
goth
clear
lady."
something terrible happened, but no one questions how insane the planet already is. You hear rumors that wolves were hunted to extinction 200 years ago and are just a fairy tale now. Some say they knew the way to a paradise away
that
from
one
this
with the goth
wasteland,
lady.
and
Yep.
the most skeptic among us say wolves still exist, cursing us with illusions and wearing our skin. That guy's a wolf, and that guy's a wolf, and that guy's a wolf, and there's wolves. It's called Wolf's Rain. If it were called Parrot's Rain, it would be about fucking parrots. My priority is to not spoil you at all, but it would be hard even if I tried to. As you watch the show, your brain scrambles to make sense of the world using every clue available.
Never thought it'd be so cold inside a dome.
Well, I don't
What
know
do you
where
mean,
you're from,
dome? Oh, that's why the sky is like that. Then where does your food come from? Who built the domes? Where does the snow come from? Your mind can generate infinite questions from any small piece of dialogue.
If I remember right, I think this anime got one season.
Mike Cass said, "Looks good. I like how you drew the eyes, Mono."
Like, I think it's literally it got one season and it got canceled after, I think. Or the manga probably kept on going, but the anime stopped. I don't know why. Maybe because of just budget reasons, or I don't know, translations. I don't know.
The way you envision all of the pieces coming together is what makes it magic. It's probably already happening to you now as you construct your own story from these random slices of the show. It's alive. This world
Ryuga
exists
Samurai
now.
said,
I would
"The
rather
one
tie
season
my sack
treatment
to a
pensive
horse
face
and make it
emoji."
run than watch another story that takes place in high school. Every season, there's a new show about a gray main character who encounters a girl with something wrong with her. This one speaks Russian. This one doesn't talk at all. This one's a tomboy, and it makes me want to pull my fucking hair out. Have you ever looked for a girl that has something wrong with her? Exactly. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Name a more abundant resource.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
But that's hard to do without girls. Yeah, that's fair. Fantasy in this realm is entertaining on a surface level, and the world is better with content like this out there. I don't want to sit and question my life philosophy every time I watch a show. We need a surface level, but they have a low shelf life. I've seen these shows worshipped just to fade into non-existence once the next quirky girl rears her head. It's not exclusive to this random
He's
subgenre.
not wrong. That does happen a lot. There'll be like one waifu that everyone likes for like a good month or 2 months, and then she'll just fade to obscurity till the next quirky looking designed like waifu comes a knocking in the next romance novel or whatever case may be, or fantasy depending on the situation. But 9 times out of 10 that happened. That happened back when, with I think between it was Darling in the Franks, then the girl, I think it was Darling in the Franks, and after Darling in the Franks, 2B or B2. Uh, it was Dress Up My Darling, and then that other anime with a pink-haired girl who I think is a psychopath. I forgot her name. It was a romance. I think she gets mad easily or some shit.
Most isekai, a lot of fantasy in fact, could fit the same description. It takes a different power entirely to unleash your imagination. The art style alone is so... What the fuck? There's a liveliness oozing from the
Yeah.
crowded markets and claustrophobic alleyways. The alien architecture echoes an era lost in time. It helps that everything looks beat the fuck up. There's texture on every surface, and I'm like, damn, you did that without slaves on tablets? No Vietnamese babies on an assembly line? How the hell were they hand-drawing this back in the day? That attention to detail seeps into every crevice of Wolf's Rain. Let me show you the main characters. There's Liara, Zali, Kiba, Gel, Sume. They explode with detail. It only takes a glance to tell they're all main characters. Except I lied to you. 3 of them only show up for like an episode. It's a show where every imaginary culture has their own aesthetic. Every spoon or fork has dings and scratches, and everyone is the main character of their own story. But
I couldn't tell from watching this show if the wolves were really wolves or it was just a metaphor for something. I really could not tell if the show was like the wolves, whenever you see the wolves fighting or when they turn the wolves. Are they turning into wolves, or this is just a manifestation of what the metaphor is supposed to be at the moment? Because it's not like that you don't see them transform. They just kind of like, and I don't know if that was like a skill issue on the artist's behalf, where they didn't know how to properly have someone morph. But they'll do a jump cut or something. If you guys seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. 9 times out of 10, they'll just jump cut, they'll jump cut into a wolf.
I said the wolves are in us all teach.
I'm telling you, this show is probably responsible. Not really, but I'm pretty sure it had some responsibility of those kids who run around with the wolves thing hanging on them, and they pretend to be wolves and stuff, and they're part of a pack and all that shit. I'm telling you. And I will blame not on this anime, but most of that came from, I think, Teen Wolf at the time, the show on MTV that came on way back when. And fucking Vampire Diaries and the originals. I think those are the 3 main culprits for this.
The samurai said, "Nah, this show is too old for them."
Yeah, it's too old. I don't think that for any kid now, or even in the 2010s, were to run into this show, you have to be lucky enough. You have to be lucky enough to find this or be interested in something like this, because this is these type of animes are pretty talkative heavy. And like there's action, but most of it's really talkative heavy. You gotta pay attention to what's going on to a certain degree. You can't just kind of know what's going on. You gotta pay attention. And if you're not paying attention, then you kind of get lost pretty fast. And I still think the anime kind of but kind of works out of context for you to just kind of jump in. But I think you're supposed to have prior knowledge to this anime, unless you're reading the manga. I think there is a manga. I'm pretty sure there was a manga at the time. And I think it got 1 season. I think it got canceled after the fact. I don't remember if it got actually canceled or that was just, it was literally 1 season. But at the time. But I don't know. This show was different. Every time when as a kid, when I saw this, whenever they switched to the wolves, I could not tell if it was supposed to it was a metaphor type thing when they fought each other, or they were to run together as wolves, or did they really truly transform as wolves? You know what I'm saying?
you've gathered that just by looking. Much of the story is told to you visually, and if you're willing to listen, this dead city has a lot to tell you.
Oh, you're on a mine. Oh.
The characters don't have nearly as much to say, which is a little sad. Kiba is a guy who sacrificed everything, convinced he's being drawn to paradise. An instinct so strong it pulls in the wolves around him, and you can't help but question what else he's willing to sacrifice. Maybe even a friend, just as desperate as him. But if you were to ask what type of character he is, I would say 2003 main character. The one thing that's dissimilar is he doesn't seem to be scared of pussy, which would make him stand out from other anime protags. But he's a dog, so that's not very impressive. I have like 9 dog bodies.
Central Command, this guy f***s dogs. I repeat, Central Command.
Oh, no. I mean, like, you know when a dog does that thing to your leg and you're like, no, I trusted you. If anyone's going to be desensitized to women, it would probably be a wolf man. Sume is another interesting one. You meet him while he's robbing a moving train, and after calmly watching his subordinates get picked off, he just hops on the fucking thing and tears it apart. As his comrades celebrate over the hall, it pans over to him, just dead inside. I want to know more about this guy. Until he talks and says, I'm a tough guy that doesn't need friends. You know what the fuck my character arc is gonna be. The main villains have such human motives. Each episode you hate them less and less. I wish I felt as compelled by the good guys, yet I cried for them. While I didn't love the characters, I did care where their journey took them. It felt inevitable that on an adventure like this, I would be so invested in the people that took me there. Normally, I watch anime like a Joestar. I can tell you it's gonna happen in a scene after seeing a pixel.
Oh.
If I may, sir, allow me to introduce Phantom's general.
Was that a fucking...
Yep.
I didn't have a relevant clip. The point is, it's easy to recognize patterns in storytelling after a while.
Was that fucking... Yep.
Ryu the Samurai said lol.
So I've developed a taste for being lost. We all know what these guys want, paradise, but what will happen in between is just as alien to us as it is to them. They're guided by a vague remnant of instinct, so it's anyone's guess how they'll reach their destination. Are there giant birds that can fly them? Can they hitchhike on these spaceships? I don't know. And that's such a fun aspect of this show. It's just one big adventure. The art is insane. The music is out of this world. There's plot holes, it's not the deepest show, and the pacing slows to a grinding halt midway. This is something I know I would have hated as a kid, and most people are going to drop it after 3 episodes. But the vibes are so alluring. The vintage look is vintage. It's not coming back. This beautiful music you're hearing was recorded differently, and the writer, Keiko Nobumoto, has passed away. There won't be something like this again. It saddened me that such a beautiful anime is one of the last of a dead style. But as that thought came to mind, I remembered being super baked. I was at a lady's house, get gutty, and had smoked that Walt Jr. pack. This, of course, left me profoundly thirsty, so I walked over to the sink to get some water. The coldest this sink gets is hot. This fuck-ass sink only has warm water, I nearly declared out loud. But I noticed it didn't seem to bother her, so I swallowed my words and wondered, is there anything positive about only having warm water? How's she so content? My mind drifted off in search of an answer. Nothing came to me, so I threw some ice cubes in. Oh, it's warm, so I can enjoy the ice. If water was cold all the fucking time, I would never learn to appreciate a cold drink. If anime looked like this always, could I appreciate its beauty? Would I be telling you that these scenes and the music and the editing were special to me? Everything new kinda looks the same to me now, and even when a show is beautiful, rarely does it speak to me. But I wonder if I'll feel that way in a decade, when this style is dead, and we've moved on to different trends. There will never be an anime similar to Wolf's Rain, at least I believe so. But I think that's what makes it beautiful. Hey, no, off the leg, down! Hey, no!
All right, this was Scambully Reviews. This anime cannot be made today. It's about the Wolf Rain. So like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. I hope you guys enjoy this and all that great stuff. We got one more video and then we call it a night. It will be from Scambully, but it's only 8 minutes long, so...
Said I love random things feel.